I'm too positive to be doubtful, too optimistic to be fearful. So all my time I spend cheerful, and I know exactly what I'm here for. I'm too positive to be doubtful, too optimistic to be fearful. So all my time I spend cheerful, and I know exactly what I'm here for. I'm too positive to be doubtful, too optimistic to be fearful. So all my time I spend cheerful, and I know exactly what I'm here for. I'm too positive to be doubtful, too optimistic to be fearful. So all my time I spend cheerful, and I know exactly what I'm here for.
What it do? It's your boy, Dragon Ball Art 92. And I'm back with another BAM reaction video. Yes. Today we're doing something different today, you guys. We're actually going to be doing a reaction video to Saitama Enters the Dragon Ball Universe. But before we get to the content today, you guys, make sure you hit that like button. And if you're new here, we want to thank you for coming by and enjoying content with us today. Real talk, man. Yeah, and if you like what you see today and you enjoy the content, make sure you subscribe and be a part of the Dragon Ball Art family. Over here, we do reaction videos, Dragon Ball reaction videos. All right, so I ain't gonna hold y'all, man. Let's get to the content. You dig?
So I'm sure a lot of you have wondered where Saitama might fit in the world of Dragon Ball. You know, with the other overpowered people and creatures to fight that could destroy the world, or I guess just straight up the universe. But seeing as he, like Goku, always finds a way to grow stronger in battles when he needs to overcome a worse threat, it doesn't seem too far-fetched that he would be just straight up in their universe, right? So one fan thought so and created something amazing for us to read. So it opens with Vegeta training as usual, out in an open area because Bulma had told him that he's too noisy. So here he is, doing Saiyan moves outside like a good husband.
That sounds exactly like something Bulma would say to Vegeta. Get your somewhere else and train. You're making too much noise. Oh man, but I just kind of want to touch up on the whole idea of Saitama being in the Dragon Ball universe. Kind of would make sense. I personally think that maybe when they created Saitama, they had Goku in the back of their minds. Not saying that they particularly made Saitama based off of Goku, but I think he does have some traits. They both have similar traits, just in my opinion.
I suppose, and in the middle of him focusing, Saitama, in cape and all, asks if he knows where the supermarket is. Vegeta brushes his question off rudely, probably still butthurt over Bulma telling him to leave, but something's up. It's almost like a dark aura of power surrounding Saitama, who looks like a nobody. But let's not sugarcoat it. He's not like Broly, who just oozes power from his form, or mysterious like Jiren, but it's enough to draw Vegeta's curiosity, though. So instead of training alone, Vegeta figures that he can use Saitama as a fighting partner. Except it's Vegeta. So he doesn't ask, he just kind of initiates a battle against Saitama's will. And if nothing else, Saitama's impressed with his speed off the bat. Not that he can't handle it. But then comes the infamous Saiyan lightning movements, kicks and punches flying everywhere at him. Still, not enough to fluster Saitama.
Just for Saitama to keep up with Vegeta like this is impressive. You know, I'm gonna sit here and be honest with you guys. I have not really watched a lot of One Punch Man. I've seen clips here and clips there, things in that nature, but I never sat down and actually watched the anime. Maybe I might take a dive into it and see what it's really about.
What? And when he throws a punch of his own, Vegeta dips out of there and comes crashing down from above with more intent. Vegeta can't help but be surprised by him, likely thinking of Saiyans like Goku and Gohan, while Saitama just looks pleased that he can face someone who won't be done in one hit. Of course, that only encourages Vegeta to use energy blasts on Saitama, who doesn't use or know what that is. Who doesn't use or know of that kind of power, at least in the Dragon Ball world. Obviously, there are energy blasts in One Punch Man, but not on the scale of Vegeta's. But Saitama's his own kind of monster and slaps the blasts away as if they're a freaking volleyball. So Vegeta decides to get...
So in One Punch Man, they don't use energy blasts, ki blasts in any form or fashion? Or is it just Saitama? Or is he the only one that doesn't use energy blast. If you know anything about One Punch Man, leave a comment in the comment section. Let me know. In the anime, do they use energy blasting of any sorts, enemies, friends, or whatever? Kind of interested, that's all.
More serious, blasting out something like the final burst cannon he used against Frieza. This forces Saitama to get serious and punch a dent right in the middle of the large beam to shove it back. The shape of his fist can be seen on the surface of the freaking planet. So naturally, Vegeta shook, and not just a little. Meanwhile, Saitama just feels a bit tingly, but he's still glad to have come across someone so strong. And just like Genos, Vegeta demands to know how he got so powerful. So of course, he explains his training regimen. And just like everyone else that Saitama's told, Vegeta doesn't believe it to be something so simple. And to be fair, Vegeta obviously doesn't have the full context to what Saitama is truly saying here. So naturally, he would be incredulous to this. And Saitama only makes his case worse when he says that Vegeta needs to step up his own game, since he only has a receding hairline and he's not bald like he is. But Vegeta has to leave when Bulma calls him for supper and makes sure to exchange numbers before he goes. And as he's flying back home, he considers the damage that he would have if he took that punch. But he also notices the supermarket that Saitama was looking for. And Saitama shows Genos on the TV that he fought Vegeta, but he doesn't believe him, which is easy to read even though he's a cyborg and can control his expressions. I mean, given how he treats the laws of causality in space and time, I'm assuming this isn't probably too difficult for him.
I'm pretty sure people don't believe, or well, this guy don't believe Saitama because their animes probably wasn't supposed to mix. So of course they're not going to believe him like that. So just my opinion. Maybe I might be wrong, because I know this is a fan-made manga. So whoever wrote the manga will have the whole idea in their mind. They know what's going on, but we're going to figure it out, right?
If he really tried to do it. If you're confused by what I just said, please read Saitama versus Cosmic Fear Garo, especially the end of it. But anyway, we're coming into chapter 2 here, starting back at the same market. Saitama finds some great deals and receives a flyer for a tournament with a huge reward to the winner. It says 5 million, but I'm going to assume they mean something like yen and not dollars. We switch to Mr. Satan and Boo's side of things as they prepare for the tournament, which is mostly a sham. The man is looking much older than he did during the Majin Buu arc, having lost quite a bit of his hair. Is that going to play a role again?
Mr. Satan, they never go change, bruh. He gonna always be the same, no matter what manga, what anime, whatever that he's put in. That dude is an actor, bro. Pure actor, bro. He's the best liar that I've seen in anime history.
I wonder if that's going to play a role again. Anyway, he's telling Boo the new plan to keep the scripted fight entertaining. He should lose to his opponent in the finals, and then Mr. Satan will finish that person off in the final round to take the big win. We can already tell where this is going to go wrong. So Saitama faces a guy named Idasa, who puts on a lot of bulk since his time fighting Trunks in the tournament. Seeing as he's known and Saitama isn't, he gets a much better intro. But no matter, the match is over before he can even land a hit on him. He continues in this way, giving the tournament participants light taps and knocking them out one by one. Not unlike what he did in his own tournament where he tried to win the prize money. It might have gone differently if he came across one of the main characters again. But fellow Baldy Boo stands before Saitama in the final match. Since they've been watching over each other's matches, they both know not to hold back once it begins. So Boo rushes at Saitama, ready to grab him at full speed. But Saitama intercepts his arms and throws a punch directly at his head, which is gone. Just kidding. Boo's able to surprise Saitama by popping his head back out of his body and hitting him in the face. So the battle is on.
Yeah, Majin Buu is not an easy character to just defeat no matter who you are, bro, because his techniques and his abilities will put anybody in a tough situation. Buu got skills, real talk, and he's strong. They just didn't utilize him right, in my opinion, throughout the storyline. They could have really used him in ways that would have been way more entertaining than just fat, sleepy, lazy Buu.
On, with both of them putting on an exciting show of strength and speed. Mr. Satan's woken up to a wild match, clearly worried about facing Saitama next, and Boo's holding his own. whacking Saitama on the head disrespectfully and wrapping him with his head, tail, antenna thing. And he's even fine with a hole punched through him by a serious punch. We know that he's a monster in his own right, but Saitama worries for a second that he might have gone too far. But then he's just relieved by how strong Boo is. But then Boo throws the fight as promised to Mr. Satan after misunderstanding his message on the sideline. As I'm sure many have noticed, Mr. Satan represents a pretty good parallel to King in Saitama's universe, and how he's known for his strength and wins, but actually is super weak. But Mr. Satan's balding, so could he perhaps pose a challenge?
We already know how this go, bro. Obviously, Mr. Satan's going to lose unless Saitama out of the blue decides to say, hey, I just don't want to fight. Like, I don't know, bro. Don't make sense. But we'll go see. Mr. Satan about to get clobbered.
Well, no, he doesn't. Especially not at first when he thinks it's a dream. And after some very sweaty, try-hard moments for Mr. Satan, who's not used to pushing himself so far, Saitama reads the room, or the crowd in this case, and realizes that he should pretend the man's best move actually takes him down. Even without knowing about him, Saitama felt his drive to keep fighting, so he wouldn't let the crowd down. He thought he deserved the win, and in the end, it turns out to be a good decision since Mr. Satan gives him the prize money for it. Sadly, those 5 million smackaroos are worth nothing in Saitama's world, so he's back to being poor and judged by his disciple. Meanwhile, Mr. Satan has been getting so much attention that he's back to jogging to build up his body, but he can't let them see how clumsy he is.
Well, that basically just ruled out my little take. Well, at least Saitama read the room. I guess they all be on the same level. They understand.
Is when he steps on a turd. And that brings us to chapter 3. In the darkness of space, unknown eyes watch over the planets and seek out strong allies, or those to snuff out. Perhaps they even use Mr. Satan's tournament as a way to keep tabs on those beings. Years before the One Punch Man series, Saitama had hair and could actually be hurt by monsters. Yeah, I know, hard to believe, especially if you didn't see episode 1, but that's where we start though. A pre-overpowered Saitama helps save someone, punching a hole in a monster, but not the one that can fix it like Boo. A ship lands with aliens who have scouters equipped, just like the Saiyans who went looking for Goku and friends in DBZ. But in this case, they seem more like a part of Frieza's army. Saitama can't hide from the device, so he steps out of hiding, and of course, insults them. They try to read his strength, but think their scouter is broken. I think it's a reference to the "It's over 9,000" meme. Even before breaking his limiter, Saitama is able to send them flying when he hits them. The number of them starts being a problem though. Not wanting to lose, Saitama decides to try a new approach, a faster set of moves, and even tanks an energy beam that destroys most of his clothes, except, of course, his indestructible pants. Because in the DBZ world, energy beams and explosions are incapable of destroying Pan. And just as he thinks he's done, one of them sneaks up behind Saitama after seeing what he's capable of. He intends to kill him because he's too much.
So in this storyline, Saitama had a chance to fight Frieza's forces before he went to that tournament and things of that nature. Okay, it's kind of dope that they're incorporating him in the beginning of the storyline, which would make more sense in his participation in a future storyline. I like this.
A threat. It seems like a bad situation until Piccolo makes an appearance. He's not usually the one to save the day unless it has something to do with Gohan and his daughter, or Goku needs backup or something. But he uses a ki blast and decimates the poor alien. And if you look closely, the gust of wind from the attack blows Saitama's hair up and he starts to get his own bald spot. I mean, it was inevitable anyway, right? But after being thanked for delaying them, Saitama thinks Piccolo is a hero too. But he looks more like a monster, which I guess he technically was at one point. And then he offers him some clothes since they got destroyed. And to match the new drip, he gets renamed Saitama, which is leagues better than Caped Baldy, but he is named Cape Baldy for a reason, of course.
Gave him the whole Saiyaman fit and named him Saitama. That's funny, bro. Piccolo's a character sometimes, bro. Like straight up. But yeah, I like the fact that Piccolo came through and saved the day. You know what I'm saying? He be doing that aura farming. You feel me? So he came through aura farming and saved Saitama from Frieza's man. quite interesting, right? Let's get back to it.
And he seems to appreciate the cape in this costume and wants to use it for his official hero outfit. By the way, the friend he's referring to is obviously Gohan, who used to fly around in disguise as a superhero while in high school and was called the Great Saiyaman. But you already knew that. But anyway, moving forward in time, the Red Ribbon Army goons threaten him from coming to their base. And with Saitama having lost all his hair, they're not far from losing their lives next. Did you think that only Saitama has the privilege of meeting Saiyans and other strong aliens? Well, he isn't.
So you want to be a software engineer? Go to boot.dev, make a free account, right?
The same artist who made the epic showdown between him and Vegeta, which I recently made a video on that you guys loved, has Genos helping a hand against Cooler and his lackeys in this story. And in it, we start off with a bang, as Genos tells Dr. Kuseno that he fought a robot named Kaka that was strong. He's missing an arm and his face is...
I'm kind of confused. I don't know if he went from one storyline to a whole different story, or is this the same storyline? If anybody's seen this video before and you know what's going on, leave a comment in the comment section just so they help me clear it up, because I'm confused right now. But let's keep it going.
It's cracked, so he needs repairs. Dr. Kuseno burned his hand, so he's not able to this time. However, he does know a wealthy family who can, and doesn't mention that they're a bit strained. It turns out to be Bulma who fixes him up, making him look like one of the ally androids. She used parts that she kept from Android 16, and that explains why it's so big and bulky, and unlike Genos' usual look. Bulma praises Dr. Kuseno's work on Genos and how he's a decent rival for their company. Genos basically doesn't react and leaves to do some training. Bulma follows him and they come across Jocko being Jocko, but he's actually there for a good reason. He warns them about Cooler, who of course is Frieza's older brother.
So Genesis, I don't know how many of y'all seen Anime Wars, but I remember Genesis being in Anime Wars and getting destroyed by Vegeta. So that's where I know him from. So but I'm not too familiar on his powers and things like that. What I'm taking from this is that he must be an android in the Saitama world. So it's quite interesting. They got androids too.
Being on the way, Jacko tells her to call the Saiyans back, but they're busy training with Whis and Beerus, so she can't. Not only that, but Jocko only gave them 30 minutes notice for Cooler's arrival. And it's not going to be a peaceful meeting, that's for sure. Genos insists on knowing about Cooler and his disaster level, which doesn't really match with the threats in the Dragon Ball universe. I guess you could consider the Dragon Ball characters even above God level, I suppose. But Genos barely got his body back together, so Bulma is against him facing Cooler. At least he has the foresight to give Jocko Saitama's address so he can let him know about the massive threat on the way. But they don't know about Saitama's power, nor how much Genos admires him. So they rub him the wrong way when they question his strength. While he heads to Cooler's landing spot, Bulma wonders how she can contact Whis to get Goku and Vegeta home quickly. Krillin also gets a call, preparing to...
So that's quite interesting. That's just like a new character popping up in that time frame. And instead of Frieza being the one to come back, so obviously this is the remake of the Resurrection of F storyline. But instead of Frieza, it's Cooler, which is pretty dope. They could have inquired, Cooler in that type of way. That actually would have been pretty interesting to see that happen. But I wonder how strong dude really is, because in Anime Wars, he was weak. Let's get back to it.
Join the fight. Meanwhile, Cooler's almost there, and Genos flies easier with Bulma's upgrades and reaches the landing site in a flash. And moments later, he spots Cooler's ship preparing to land. Genos' cannons might work a bit differently, but he aims them ready to fire. The blast is as big as you'd expect, not even giving Cooler's ship a chance to touch down. The aircraft catches fire and swerves off, crashing into a...
Well, that's a smart move. That's a move that nobody in Dragon Ball usually do. And sometimes I'd be like, well, how is that smart in the battle if you guys just waiting for your enemies to be prepared to fight? Like, you should take advantage of whatever opportunity that is presented if you're actually trying to win a war, right? So power off. Excuse the speaker, you guys. So for him to actually take these type of actions show you how characters think different in different animes. That's pretty dope.
Genos is impressed with how easy it was. The 3 lackeys under Cooler's command fly out, uninjured but angered at the sudden attack. On his side, Cooler just floats ominously. Thankfully, Piccolo and Gohan arrive as backup next. Gohan greets Genos, wondering if he's a robot, and for good reason, honestly. And Gohan's not wearing the right outfit to fight. He's even got his glasses on. He must have come over in a hurry. When Genos hears someone else arrive, he assumes it's Saitama, but it's Tien, who also happens to be bald. And Roshi's there too, along with Krillin, with some sensu beans to pass out. It's the gathering of the Baldies. Cooler doesn't think much of this team and wants Goku instead, but Gohan lets him know that they aren't to be underestimated. Not that Cooler's lackeys are convinced, so one of them offers to take over. They hit a Power Ranger style pose, calling themselves the Armored Squadron. So Piccolo tells everyone,
that's too funny, bro. And if this is the version of the fighters that I think it is, they go destroy Cooler's little crew. I think they were a little bit stronger than the Ginyu Force, so they not really go get too far with the Z fighters. But we go see. And I wonder how strong Cooler is in this, because if he's around the same level that we know him from the movies, and this is the version of the Z fighters that's in Super, Cooler doesn't even stand a chance with them. Let's get back to it.
Everyone to prepare. His first suggestion is that they split up to face them, and he transports away. He gets up close with one of them named Dory to hit him mid-flight. Gohan stays on the ground facing another lackey called Salsa, and the bald lizard one named Knees goes for the fellow Baldies, Tien and Roshi, and Krillin, who shaved his hair off before arriving. Master Roshi takes on his muscle form, ready to show off his power, but the lackey just blows his blast away as if it's nothing. He also dodges Krillin's disc barrage, and Knees even drew his head in his suit like a turtle would. Tien tries out a Taioken on him next, and the bright flash is enough for them to finally get the upper hand for a moment. With the extra time, Tien creates doubles of himself and launches Kikoho, Doronpa, and Kamehameha. But when the smoke and debris clear, the turtle, Knees, is fine. Tien can't believe it. Even Genos is surprised. He's just been standing there with his arms crossed, by the way. Meanwhile, the captain tries hitting Gohan with quick slicing motion. He accuses Gohan of being a fake warrior since he keeps dodging. So Piccolo throws a sword for him to match the slicing technique. To be fair, should he just be taking the cuts from Salsa? I don't get it. Gohan feels motivated with it, though, and Piccolo adds a fighting outfit as extra. Finally, Gohan removes his glasses. He really wasn't taking it seriously before. That's when Piccolo gets sucker punched from the slight.
What's even funny is basically he's reminding Gohan of how he was when he got the Z sword. So now Gohan's about to put on that act, you know what I mean? I guess the clothes puts him in certain personalities, and the clothes don't make you, you make the clothes. So, but I like the little comedy, little skit. It's pretty cool.
Distraction, but it doesn't do much damage. Piccolo ignores it and asks how they and Cooler were revived with the Dragon Balls and who made the wish. But Dory says that they weren't revived because they weren't dead to begin with and just spent time recovering in the regeneration chambers. Knowing that even a chunk of flesh is enough to be revived, Piccolo can't help but laugh at him and makes Dory want revenge even more. But Piccolo knocks the literal spit out of him, not letting that happen. He prepares an energy blast, wanting to end the fight, and he does just that. The one fighting Gohan notices that he's been taken down, causing Salsa to lose his cool. But the sword battle's going better now that Gohan is armed. Just to prove that he doesn't need it because he's stronger anyway, Gohan drops the sword and uses his bare hands. Gohan grabs the lackey in a show of disrespect, schooling him on the fighters of Earth and how much they can increase their power in seconds. He moves so fast that Salsa...
So the Z Fighters was just playing with, I told you though, they don't stand a chance against the Z Fighters. Them boys just out there playing. Well, except for Tien, Roshi, and Krillin, which is crazy, bro, how they made them so weak, bro. they could have made them more advanced, bro, and gave them more skills so that way they can participate in some of these big fights. But the way they are now, they're useless when it comes to some of these enemies that Goku and them be facing. It's crazy work, bro.
Is left with his hand up in the air and he gets swatted next. With him crashing to his end, we jump to the Baldy fight. Knees is made aware of his comrades losing and it distracts him briefly. But as the only one left, he launches an attack on Tien and Krillin, with Roshi his next target for what looks like lightning. Roshi guards himself the best he can, but Genos ends up saving him in the end. He moves him out of the way next to the other two. Tien and Krillin finally take notice of Genos, and it's his time to shine. The lackey tries to read his power level, but he can't because of his cyborg body and the new suit. Genos intends to show what it means to be a fighter with real technique. Having fought so many times against threats that nearly destroyed him, this is his chance to prove that he's grown, and his speed alone shocks Knees. He launches the same electric attack at him, so Genos ejects his fist to counter. Then he reaches the enemy and pummels him some more, knocking him around and taking no breaks. Genos then prepares a blast from the detached arm like he did with their ship earlier. An inferno blast lights up the area, demolishing Knees at point-blank range. Genos' arm clicks back into place, and the three Baldies are shocked by how strong he is, while Piccolo's just glad they're done with that so they can move on to Cooler. With not a care in sight, he's doing one-finger push-ups and preparing for his turn to fight, but he's still not enthused since a Super Saiyan isn't around.
Quite interesting. Cooler's cocky, but like I said, that cockiness could lead you in a situation to where you lose because he don't even know that Gohan is a Super Saiyan.
Piccolo and Gohan land nearby, and Cooler explains that he might look like his brother, but he's not as lacking in training. For an entire year, Cooler's been leveling up, and it was because of how much the Saiyan race has advanced that he needed to match that level. In other words, he should be 3 times stronger than Frieza. Elsewhere, Bulma's trying to get Whis to bring them back by
Well, that's totally different, Dan. If he's been training, it's a problem.
bribing him with food to try.
This may be the last ad you ever see, because with the free ad block extension from Capital One Shopping, you can say goodbye to.
Cooler doesn't really want to face them, but since they're there, he intends to test out his new skills. Piccolo removes his weighted clothes in preparation, and Gohan thinks that he should be training with that too. Instead of worrying, Gohan charges himself up, surprising Piccolo and Cooler with his growth. Just as he and Piccolo are fired up, Cooler appears behind the Namekian and stabs through him with his hand. Cooler explains,
Bro, why Piccolo always dying or getting super injured, bro? Like every show or a lot of the times they fighting, bro, Piccolo gets hurt or ends up dead or sacrifices himself. Like I barely remember any times that Piccolo actually really won a fight against a main enemy. Probably a few of them I remember him sort of winning. I mean, winning and won is two different things. So it seems like it's always, which is cool, it's always a team effort because I'm not going to sit here and say that Goku always beats his enemies. It's always a team effort. But Piccolo always be getting the business, bro. He always be getting his handed to him, bro. Always taking them L's.
that he's impressed by Gohan's change, and that if he can go Super Saiyan, he's a more suitable combatant, tossing Piccolo aside. But Piccolo lets his emotions get the better of him, and his wrist is grabbed and injured right away, with Cooler knocking him down with a fierce kick neck. Gohan crashes to the ground like an explosion, near the still recovering Tien and Krillin. As he gets up from the fall, Cooler flies towards him, but gets intercepted by a flying fist. I bet you can guess who it belongs to. Genos draws it back to him after he's successful, with Cooler having to face a new opponent now. Genos doesn't waste any time and warns Cooler to stop or be stopped. At the same time, Jocko found Saitama's apartment as promised, but he was getting some groceries. And he tells him all about the Genos and Cooler situation. Saitama's intrigued when he hears that Cooler is a strong alien, reminding him of his fight with Boros. And, surprisingly, Jocko knows about Boros, so he's convinced that Saitama can lend a hand after all. But first, Saitama needs to change into his hero outfit and epic pose. Now he could go. But before that, there's a bonus story called Nagoya Special. King may not be trying to get the...
Bro, how many stories are in this story? Like, I'm going from one storyline to the next to another one. Like, come on, bro.
attention of anyone, but he certainly draws it towards him. In this case, it's no different, and Dr. Cochin spots him and invites him to meet Dr. Wheelo alongside some nasty Cybermen. He makes it seem like it's just a friendly invite, but threatens to attack the town if he doesn't come quietly. He tried to sneak off to the bathroom again like he did with G4, but was pulled away. Some men in the crowd saw it happen, assuming it was part of King's plan. Once brought to the doctor, King is even more scared than before. Not only that, but 3, frankly, ugly warriors approach him in order to test his strength. It's never a good idea to lie on your resume, guys. Again, King tries his bathroom trick, but gets denied. And in case you're wondering, the 3 minions' names are parodies of the foods famous in Nagoya. The 3 monsters fly at him together, leaving King with tears in his eyes and expecting death. Thankfully, Saitama was in the area and saw King get taken away in Dr. Cochin's ship. He smashes the 3 warriors with one punch, leaving both doctors shocked at his strength. As Saitama explains how he found King, he finishes off the warriors, and Dr. Willow admits his true objective, finding a worthy body for his mind. He wrongly believes that he can just take Saitama's body by force, even after seeing that display of power. So, just as expected, Saitama destroys Dr. Willow when he tries to attack. Since we see blood and guts go flying, it's safe to assume that he's,
So I see. So what they're doing is putting Saitama in different storylines of Dragon Ball Z, in the history of Dragon Ball Z. So, I guess some of the creators of these storylines, like certain arcs, and they felt like he fit perfect in there. And they did a good job with rewriting some of these storylines. It's pretty dope, bro. I give y'all props. But jumping from story to story to story, it kind of throws me off, because I'll be into one story and then we jump to the next, and I get into that one and then we already cut to the next without seeing no type of ending. So it's like, okay, what's going on here? But yeah, let's get back to it.
Dead. Dr. Cochin can't really do much but stare in shock. But that's when Saitama remembers that he had a sale to go to, and he's too late now. At least King is kind enough to buy him some snacks for the trouble that he went through, though. In the last chapter of Dragon Arrow Lee's Dragon Punch collab, Genos joined Gohan, Piccolo, and other allies to defeat Cooler's henchmen. Now there's only Frieza's older brother left to deal with them. And it won't be easy after a year of training for this. Thankfully, Jocko found Saitama. Genos and the other fighters prepare to battle Cooler, and he's more confident than ever, planning to destroy the whole planet. As fast as Genos has become with Android 16's parts, Cooler dodges his swings. Seeming to take a page out of Saitama's book, Genos tries a Gatling gun-style flurry of punches. But all Cooler has to do is cover his face, and he comes out unscathed with a satisfied grin. So Genos sends him upwards with his torso unguarded, but it just leaves him wide open instead for Cooler to start his attack. Before Cooler can do too much damage, Gohan flies in with a kick, forcing Cooler away from the rest. Gohan follows after him in the air, narrowly dodging a laser from Cooler's eyes. He still gets his cheek grazed, though, with Genos following behind him. Genos tries his own flying kick, but Cooler just moves away and prepares a ki blast. However, it's not enough to stop the duo, and Genos knocks it back, and Gohan aims it away from him. The bald crew can't do much besides stand on the sidelines and watch, as usual.
Bro called them the bald crew. He ain't lying though, bro. He ain't lying, bro. Except for when Saitama comes in. He's the strongest baldy of them all.
Well, Piccolo, Tien, and Krillin specifically. The lull in the clash gives Genos time to consider how strong Cooler is, and how much Gohan reminds him of Saitama with how he fights. Even Cooler appreciates their battle prowess, expecting them to entertain him until a Super Saiyan arrives. But Cooler has something else prepared. He starts a transformation that Gohan's heard about from his father, but didn't expect to see it so soon, especially since it's considered like a final form. With the usual dramatic shouting, Cooler's body starts to deform and grow larger, bulging with muscle mass. Piccolo, Krillin, and Tien are shocked by this, while Gohan knows they'll stand no chance if he doesn't stop it. Too bad Cooler sensed a threat, since Genos had the same idea and rushed at him. But for some reason, none of them expected Genos to do that. Why would you wait until he's at his most powerful, then continue fighting? The most stunned is Cooler, though, who's insulted by Genos rudely interrupting his transformation. So instead of using the Saitama method, which is to win in the way that's most efficient, Cooler continues changing, and Genos just lets him. Now, completely in the familiar Frieza family form, the fight can go on as planned. Genos tries his Gatling punch again, but this time Cooler catches his arm and breaks the modifications. But he also helps Genos to blast him, since it's the part that was covering where his cannon shoots from. Even at point-blank range, Cooler doesn't back off and isn't stopped by it. He elbows Genos in the back, smashing through the armor, and Gohan jumps in to help, seeing Genos falling, but he's whacked in the face like a child and stopped in his tracks.
So when Cooler transformed, he start handing it to him, bro. He start putting them hands on them boys, and there was nothing they can do to stop them. But they was trying, bro. Like, you got to give them their props. They was putting in that work. But that boy Cooler at this point can't be stopped. My thing is, like, why Gohan hasn't transformed to a Super Saiyan, or is he using his Mystic form right now? And if he's using his Mystic form right now, boy, that boy Cooler then got really, really strong, boy.
A knee to his stomach follows that, blasting Gohan into the air, and Piccolo can only call out to his friend, knowing that he's not strong enough to help. But he remembers the sensu beans Krillin brought and asks for some himself. Right as Cooler is preparing a ki blast, Genos rushes in behind him to pummel the back of his head with little results. It's like he's hitting a brick wall, and what Genos gets for his attempt is pierced through by a tail, and a disrespectful face grab to add. Plus, he's dragged across and through rocks like he's made of paper. Anyone else might be completely destroyed, but Genos is mostly cybernetic at this point. Instead of being disappointed with Genos' body, he takes a sick pleasure in knowing he won't feel most of what Cooler does. Still, with Cooler's hand on his head, Genos charges up a thunder attack against him. Rather than Cooler being out of commission, he just feels numb from the powerful shock. Meanwhile, Piccolo helps Gohan eat the sensu bean so that he can recover. And with that, Gohan is back on his feet, motivated to continue until the other Saiyans arrive. Piccolo curses himself for being so weak in this fight, shouting for Goku to get there. Speaking of, Whis peacefully looks at gourmet books, finally aware of Bulma frantically contacting him. At last, some hope for the battle against Cooler. Whis admits that Cooler looks tough, but refuses to let Goku and Vegeta leave until they're done their laps. Sure, they're wearing heavy suits, and it's important for them to become stronger, but the world is...
That's funny, bro, how Whis will stop them from going back to save the planet or whatever the case being until they're done, you know. But it makes sense because the angels and gods don't really care about mortals' affairs, you know, and what Whis is doing for them, you know, takes priority in whatever they got going on. So I kind of understand the hierarchy, but it's wow, bro. That's crazy work, bro. Like, you're in a situation where, oh, my family is about to be destroyed, but I got to finish this training. It's funny work, bro.
Is in danger, Whis. Come on. At least Whis notices a strong fighter with a bald head on the way, so it should be fine. And, of course, we all know that it's Saitama. Before Bulma can find out who's coming, Whis switches the conversation back to food. Thanks to Jocko's speedy ship, Saitama can play games while they fly over to the battle. It might seem like he's being too carefree, but Jocko doesn't know him like we do. He contacts someone on the way, wondering if Bulma got Goku and Vegeta back, just in case Saitama can't deliver properly. He makes it clear that he has no faith in Saitama, with our Capes Baldy overhearing the conversation. But Jocko misses the serious expression he has on after hearing there's no one else who can save the people. Afterwards, we return to Genos with an arm missing, a hole through his chest, and badly in need of repairs. Gohan is taken over for the time being, using his speed and strength to hold Cooler back. He even begins a Kamehameha charge-up that Cooler allows him to complete, because, those are the rules of Dragon Ball. The massive blast is launched at Cooler and can even be seen in space, but it took everything out of Gohan just to use it. Krillin wrongly assumes Gohan succeeded, but Piccolo knows the fight's not over, wanting more Senzu beans for Gohan, but they're all out. And to make matters worse, Cooler isn't even hurt by that extremely powerful attack. He just comes crashing back down to ground level, stomping Gohan into the earth. With no stamina or strength left, Gohan's tangled up.
So they're propping it up to make it seem like Saitama is stronger than Gohan, which I don't know, bro. It just, to me, it depends on what form Gohan you're talking about, because from what I know of Saitama, he was in Anime War, like I said. He was putting up a fight against those evil gods, so he got some strength behind him. And I seen a few clips of him fighting like monsters and universal villains and stuff like that, and he was putting hands on them. So I assume that maybe he is probably stronger than Gohan in this state. But we ain't talking about Beast Gohan, though. Let's get back to it.
And held like a trophy. Cooler thinks because of 1 year of training, no one can defeat him now. Not even the gods of destruction, which makes Goku and Beerus sneeze from being mentioned. Cooler flings Gohan aside, letting him fall to the ground like a broken toy. Piccolo worries more than anyone else, but also senses someone approaching. Now, don't get too excited, guys. It's Yamcha. Famous for his beaten down pose, of course. Not only do they seem glad for his arrival, but they're acting as if he could somehow change the tide of the fight. At least he's aware he's not the strongest fighter, but he's going to do what he can until someone better can step in and take over. He then flies off to greet Cooler, and apparently it took someone like Yamcha to remind the Bald Gang that they should be giving everything that they have as long as they can, if they have any pride. So Piccolo, Krillin, and Tien head to where Gohan is badly hurt as well. With his pride as a regular human on the line, Yamcha strikes a pose and prepares to fight. He uses Wolfang Fist, quick and precise movements, aided by Piccolo diving in with a kick to leave Cooler no chance to end one of them. Krillin uses his speedy Destructo discs too, and Tien floats higher up, preparing a Kikoho, all of them hitting together. A massive hole is made in the ground, but Cooler is still fine when he flies out of it. And it's because, just as they thought, their moves aren't strong enough to even slow him down. That's when he prepares a more threatening attack with one finger, likely the same supernova Frieza used to destroy Planet Vegeta. And from the size of it, no one will survive if they can't stop it. Rather than wondering what to do like Piccolo, Yamcha rushes in to try and hold it back.
Crazy part about it is, right, that blast will definitely kill Yamcha, but Yamcha got heart. He had heart more than they did. They've been there in the fight, bro. But I want to know if Saitama gonna have enough strength to send that supernova back into space. I mean, obviously, the way the storyline is written, I'm pretty sure that's what's gonna happen, but let's see.
So Tien, Krillin, and Piccolo join him to keep it from touching down. Cooler doesn't even try to stop them, feeling like he's watching ants trying to stop a boulder. But Genos and Gohan can't let this be the end, and they fly in to give their best too. With everyone holding it back, it almost feels like they could do it, maybe. Piccolo's the first to sense the amazing hero arriving at last, hoping it's one of the Saiyans. But the cape and a bald head is what they see instead, diving into the fray without hesitation. Unlike them, he can't fly. So for him to be floating in the air behind them, he had to have leapt up. As he watches the group struggle, he prepares a serious attack, a monstrous serious punch. He knocks that giant orb back to where it came from, right at Cooler while he was still gloating. Though he launched the attack, Cooler certainly wasn't prepared to have it volleyed back at him once Saitama sent it his way. And we see him and it leave the atmosphere. Saitama's return to his calm self with everyone in disbelief. Genos is so glad to see his master, and Piccolo's the only other one who knows of Saitama and his skill. But he met him when he hadn't broken his limiter yet, so he didn't recognize him right away. I will cover the story being mentioned here in a follow-up.
So I guess Saitama had a limiter or something like that? where his power was limited. I'm thinking that's exactly what they're talking about. And when he broke that limiter, he's, I guess, capable of godlike tier abilities, maybe. But that was a pretty good video, you guys. Pretty good video. I enjoyed that. Something different. I think that crossover might actually be a pretty decent crossover if it actually happened. But you know, I'm not too sure that will actually happen, or any other crossovers for that matter. But that's it for the video today, you guys. I want to thank you for coming by and checking out the content with us today. Every morning, man, you should tell yourself you believe in yourself, man, because you all you got. You know what I mean? Tell yourself positive things and keep it pushing. You feel me? I'm grateful to be here. I'm grateful to be making these videos for you guys, and I'm grateful for y'all to be here, you know, supporting me, man. Real talk. So you guys have a great day. And y'all know the slogan, man. Believe in yourself, because ain't nobody else gonna do it. Dragon Ball Art 92. I'm out, y'all. Deuce.
I'm too positive to be doubtful, too optimistic to be fearful. So all my time I spend cheerful, and I know exactly what I'm here for. I'm too positive to be doubtful, too optimistic to be fearful. So all my time I spend cheerful, and I know exactly what I'm here for. I'm too positive to be doubtful, too optimistic to be fearful. So all my time I spend cheerful, and I know exactly what I'm here for. I'm too positive to be doubtful, too optimistic to be fearful. So all my time I spend cheerful, and I know exactly what I'm here for.